The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and they get.
He missed the pit complete. That is crazy
Side by side,
stuff.
Freitas is on the grass on the infield floor. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
If you're a fan of chicanes and sausage curbs, then you're in luck because Apex Online Racing's Formula Renault 2.0 Championship kicks off the second half of its Season 4 schedule at Belgium's other track, Zolder. It's round 7 of 12 on the calendar, and all action from the 40-minute opening feature and the 25-minute sprint that follows can be seen live as it happens here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Good afternoon and welcome to GSRC's Countdown to the Green. I'm your host Joe Peak, standing in for Bill Zahn. Joining me is Richard Losper. Turning the knobs and pushing the sliders is our director Amjad Yaman, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Last round at Sebring, the feature saw Christian Koch, Uni Silvasti, Kerry Nolden, and Phil Reed, all former champs, starting inside the top 6. With Jeroen Quakel a no-show, there was no one to challenge Silvasti as the unit went wire to wire to pick up his 3rd race win of the season. Christian Takacs had another strong performance, running behind Silvasti most of the way to grab 2nd, with Koch overcoming an early mistake to finish 3rd. 21 drivers finished on the lead lap in the feature, which put Silvio Hurt on the pole inside of Taylor Lane. Hurt was 14th and Lane 16th after the first lap, but there was no major incidents. A poor result in the feature put René Oosterkamp on the inside of row 2, and he went wire to wire for his first checkered flag of the season. Silvasti raced from 22nd to 2nd, but ran out of time to get Oosterkamp. Adam Tierney started 5th and finished 3rd to match his best results of the season. Looking at the drivers that won the day, 1st and 2nd made Silvasti the big winner at Sebring. A 2nd and 7th had Takacs, 6 points better than Hugo Preto, who scored a 4th and a 5th. Reed went 5th and 10th to finish a point ahead of Koch, who, with a DNF in the sprint, had to hang his hat on a 3rd place result in the feature to grab 5th overall. Richard, today the series goes to a track with about as much flow as the Rio Grande in summer, Zolder.
Yes, sir. And a very big welcome to all our viewers as usual. We are today at Zolder right here in the Netherlands. This track was built in 1963, so it's been around for a while. It's hosted Formula 1 races 10 times in the 70s and 80s, no longer used for Formula 1 events though. Currently it hosts the Blancpain Sprint Series and the Belgian Racing Car Championships. We have 4 kilometers of track, 2.5 miles. There are 10 turns. And of course the big issue with this track is there are very many chicanes. 3 chicanes for the drivers to negotiate. Also they've got these high sausage curbs which the drivers will have to contend with, which will throw the car off perhaps. So without further ado, let's have a look at a lap guide and see what this track is all about.
All right, we've got Amjad Yaman of the GSRC Formula Renault 2.0, so let's do a lap around Zolder. Coming down to turn 1, the downhill braking makes it hard to get the car to turn into the apex. Because of that, passing isn't always the easiest thing into this corner. That won't stop drivers from trying anyway. Then switch back and set it for 2. This corner and turn 3 are effectively the same turn in one long arc. Be careful not to drift onto the big curves of the outside, or you could damage your car. Hold to the left and try your best to focus on the exit of turn 4. This medium speed turn is critical to your lap time because of it leading onto a fairly long straight. Plus, there's an enticing place to pass at the end of it, but this first chicane will bite you if you come in too hot for an overtake. Whether it's getting a cut course penalty or tearing up your car's floor on the sausage curbs, be careful of its pitfalls. Now we crest gently over the hill and keep the car to the left for the best entry for the second chicane. There's 3 apexes here, so it's much tougher to get them right. Keep hugging the inside so that the third one lets you get to the power early. Swing it down low through turn 7 and you can take it flat out through the bend. There's one more big crest, and once more, keeping the car on the left side all the way to the grass will give you the best line. The turn 8 hairpin will be a popular passing spot since it's one of the few braking zones that isn't a chicane. Some drivers will get you back with an over-under, so be aware of how deep you take it into the corner. As we weave through this little squiggle, we now near the end of the lap. The last chicane can pose some unique problems. Don't get focused on the car ahead if they're pitting in, or you'll completely blow the corner. Once again, be wary of going fully over the sausage curbs, or else they'll do some serious damage. Get back to the gas as soon as you feel safe, drift across the track, and you've now finished a lap around Zolder. That should give you an idea of just how much of a stop-start track this one is. It's going to be difficult for the drivers to tackle throughout the day. Let's go to the points championship, though, and see how that stands. Take the two drop events into account. There is a dead heat for the lead, 175 points each for Origin Front Row Racing's Jeroen Kwekel and Privateer Uni Silvasti. Again, pay attention to the pocket points with 6 races to go. The Earthquake has the advantage over the unit. TNT's Hugo Preto sits in third, 9 points ahead of another privateer, Christian Takacs, who moved past for Fusion's Gunnar Nienhaus. As for the teams, Kwekel's absence hurt Origin Front Row Racing a little, with Dan Brewer having to do all the lifting. Nienhaus and Reed have Fusion within striking distance now, only 53 back. Andy Cowie and Jean-Francois Godin have Evo Sonic just 5 points ahead of the TNT solo effort of Preto. But the team on the move for several races finally cracked the top 5 today. That team belongs being Infinity Racing with Ty McLeod and Lawrence de Rijk. That leads us to the series and race details. Richard?
Yes, sir. And at this point, we normally tell you a little bit about how these races work. Currently, we are in season number 4. This is round number 7 of 12 rounds. The drivers are allowed to drop 2 of those 12 rounds for whatever reason. And of course, that means they have to drop a complete event, which is a feature event and a sprint for the total points. The car, of course, that they use is the fabulous Renault 2. The setups are open with 40% fuel. That means they have about 20 liters in the tank to start with. The format is 2 races per event. That means there are 2 winners. They could be the same winner or 2 different winners. The feature race slightly longer, and of course a sprint race. The starts are standing starts. There are no times to heat up the tires. And of course, the tires take a little slow to heat up. So look out for possible accidents or bobbles early in the race. They have no fast repairs. They do have incident cap, and it is different for the feature race and the sprint race. The feature will have more incidents allowed because of the longer racing time. The weather is dynamic, and of course it carries over from yesterday's practice. So back to you, Joe.
Up next, of course, is the format details for this race, so let's see what that's going to look like. Qualifying is a 2-lap lone. That's what they're out there doing right now. A few drivers getting a few extra practice laps in and maybe goofing around as we're seeing out there. Feature race is going to be 40 minutes long. It will include 1 pit stop, and the grid is going to be sequential via qualifying. The incident cap that they have to worry about, so they can't get disqualified, is 13 incidents. 13 incidents, will be get them half points, so they do need to try and keep it clean if they want full points for the race. 17 incidents will disqualify them. That's the correct information there. And they are getting standard feature points for that race. The sprint race, however, that's only going to be 25 minutes. There is no pit stop. And the grid is going to be determined by inverting the feature race results, except for the cars that are lapped down or more. Those goes to the back of the grid and are in order that they finished. Incident cap, 13 incidents on that one, and they will be DQ'd, so with fewer laps, they are going to have to be a little bit tighter on that one, and they're going to have the reduced sprint points rewarded for that second race. And with that, getting you up to speed for these 2 races for today, we got about a minute left in qualifying, Richard, and boy, this is certainly going to be interesting. I expect a bit of fireworks into these chicanes.
Yeah, it's going to be. Now, if you've been with us from the beginning, you would have noticed, Joe, that there's a lot of action on these with these cars. The driving is very close, and there are some excellent drivers here of this car. This track is going to sort out the good guys from the bad guys, and I'll tell you what, there are no real bad guys in these races. They are fantastic drivers. They do the very best that they can, and this track is going to test the drivers to the maximum. Guys to look out for, of course, Jeroen the Earthquake Kwekel, Uni Silvasti, who's been fantastic, Gunnar Nienhaus, Christian Takacs, and a whole host of others. Then, Joe, just very quickly, everything turns right on his head for the second race, because the last driver on the lead lap will be on pole position, and that mixes things up fantastically and quite unexpectedly sometimes.
Yeah, no pressure, right? Well, we've just finished qualifying, so let's go to the grid. Jeroen Kwekel is going to be starting on pole, with Gunnar Nienhuis starting in second, Christian de Cox in third, and Juni Silvasti in fourth. Rene Oosterkamp will start the race on the inside of row 3, and then on 6 will be Jean-Francois Gaudin. Hugo Preto starting in 7th, with Adam Maguire in 8th, Laurens de Rijk in 9th, and rounding out the top 10, Richard, is Ty McLeod.
And moving right along, Knut Martensen in 11th place alongside Christian Koch. In 12th place, we have Richard Arnault in 13th place with Luke White. Next to him, Manuel Hoyer is in 15th with Christoph Holstein in 16th place. Evan Imre and Jarno Hertz are in 17th and 18th place. 19th and 20th places, row number 10, is brought up by Lee Robinson and Adam Tierney. Joe?
Stephen Chambers will start the race in 21st, with Odd Jonas Vilman in 22nd. Frederick Beckman will begin in 23rd, followed by Robert Plumley in 24th. Christopher Leister in 25th, and Alexander Waldo in 26th. Silvio Hurt starts the race off in 27th. He's followed by Vittorio Santalamacchia in 28th. Kerry Nolden did not get a lap in 29th. Same thing with everybody behind him. Andy Cowie in 30th. Phil Reed in 31st. Steve Kagerer in 32nd. Dylan Hember in 33rd. And Taylor Lane in 34th. That'll be your full 34-car field out there today. Sure to be difficult with such a tight, narrow, and technical track.
Indeed, and they are all starting to grid up now. Look at the fantastic pictures provided by Dougie Beard, looking from the front back towards the last car, and you can see, Joe, that the cars are lined up, and there's a bit of a hill that they're on, a little bit of a downhill actually, that they'll be coming down into turn 1 from.
Well, the lights are up, and we'll see who can make it down that hill. The green is out as they take off across the line. Gunnar Nienhuis with a decent start, but Kwekel is able to hold him off with the inside. Very difficult to get slowed up into this downhill corner. A lot of 3 wide starting to form behind him. Oh, a little bit of contact.
Adam Maguire.
Laurens de Rijk also off with him. Those two came together side by side, and de Rijk is able to continue, but it looks like Maguire is not.
Yes, and we'll have a look at that. We have what's called the first lap recap a bit later on. And at the moment, going up to the front here, we've got Christian de Cox in third place. Jeroen Kwekel leading them with a little gap over Gunnar Nienhuis. And then Juni Silvasti, the unit, just following back, and Juni trying to make a move now as they come down the hill towards the second chicane, side by side in front of him. Joe, this is tight. Juni backs it out. There's a bit of a contact there, a little bit of a touch. Juni is backed off a little bit just behind him, and anxious to get into the action is Hugo Preto, but they all get through safely as they head down now towards the hairpin.
Boy, Christian de Cox almost got shoved off the track as Gunnar Nienhuis put his elbows out to make sure that he held on to that spot. And Juni Silvasti just right on top of things, seeing if he can make anything work, but no such luck so far as they come to the line for the first time. Jeroen Kwekel still leading, Nienhuis in second, Christian de Cox in third, Silvasti in fourth, and Hugo Preto rounds out our top 5.
Indeed, and I'm going further back now to 12th place as you look
whoa, we have a big accident. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
Looks like Phil Reed is involved in that. We've got Silvio Hurt is involved, and Jarno Hertz also got into that. A couple more cars, but boy, there was just a huge checkup, and cars were scattering everywhere to try and avoid the chaos. Let's go back to the start and see what happened to our 2 cars that came together. I think that was the only contact we had. Need to go a little bit farther back here as we get our nice chopper view from above to give you a good angle of what all went down. You can see de Rijk and Maguire just barely touched. Almost might have been net code. Unfortunately, the tree's getting in the way of our view of them hitting the Armco. I can't remember exactly how hard they took a thwack on it. Let's see here once more. It's hard to tell, Richard. I can't tell if they actually made contact or not.
Might have been a bit of net code, but certainly it looked like contact from where I was at the time.
All right, let's go to that big incident and see if we can piece together what caused this one, because I came over here right in the middle of it. Ooh, looks like there's a little bit of the car ahead of the car that we were watching. De Rijk, maybe? Yes, it looks like De Rijk. Oh man, twice in one lap he was involved in incidents there. Looks like there was a bit of action ahead of him and he got punted from behind, and that just sent him turned completely around.
And guys, let's go back to the front now, where Jeroen Kwekel, as Bill said last week, check his bags for stolen tails because he has checked out. And in second place, Gunnar Nienhuis at the moment, and third place still Christian to catch. Uni Silvasti, the unit, trying to get on terms there, but dropping back a little bit there, Joe.
Yeah, they're starting to spread out, get themselves a little bit of space up at the front. Not a lot of action up here at the moment. If we go a little bit farther back, Stephen Chambers very closely behind the 11th place Lee Robinson, seeing if he can challenge down into the hairpin of 8. But he's not close enough, and he's going to have to stay behind. Ooh, locking up the brakes a little bit down into the corner. Got to be careful of that.
And Joe, somebody who's been moving forward is car number 3, Christian Koch. Now, Christian is one of the ex-champions. We have many ex-champions of these series in this race, and Christian has now moved himself up into 7th place. He's still got a long way to go, as we can see that Christian is 8 seconds off the lead, but he's making some moves forward, which is great to see from Christian Koch.
Yeah, having qualified 12th, I wonder if he just could not get a clean lap. And remember, their qualifying laps are discounted if they have an incident point by touching the grass too far over. And maybe that put him a little bit farther down the order than he wanted. Right now, he is trying to hunt down Ty McLeod as they work their way through the first chicane. Now up and over the hill, slowly closing in on the 316.
Yeah, I've been watching how these guys negotiate the chicanes, and it seems like with the big tires on these cars that they're not having too much trouble crossing over those sausage curbs. So here they go through the hairpin now. Prato, I'm with. There's a car off track. Who is that?
Looks like Nienhuis had some problems and lost a couple positions. He was in second earlier on. Got on the power a little too early. You're going to see it here as he comes down into turn 8. I guess coming out of that slow corner, the downforce of these Formula Renault cars was not there to help him. And look at that. Just swap ends.
He keeps going though, and that's good to see. Meanwhile, Hugo Prato had a moment as well. But he did not go off track really, just a wild wobble there, but he's back on it. Jeroen Kwekel still leading here. Christian Tekat's doing a great job today in second place. Uni has now moved up. Gunnar Nienhuis had the problem, and Uni Silvasti has moved into third place because of that. Hugo Prato into fourth place. Gunnar now sitting in fifth place, so he has only lost a couple of spots there, Joe.
Christian Koch tried to make a move down into the first chicane on Ty McLeod, and it has backfired as he loses a ton of time trying to recover the car with the bad line into the first chicane. That was kicked off with Nienhuis having a big bobble down into one and back these guys up together. They've all now split back apart, but it was tense moments for these three drivers.
Yes, sir. And moving a little further back, let's go and have a look at 15th place there, Kerry Nolden, as we see a car slow in front of him there. Might be Waldo. And there's an accident as well through the second chicane. All happening, Joe.
A lot of action, and I think the chicanes are really bringing out the difficulty as Chambers, we watch his replay here, take a little bit too much inside curb and got the car turned around. And I'm surprised these guys are being as aggressive as they are on the curbs, Richard. I would think that as low slung as these cars are, that any touch on the floor causes them to get significant damage.
Yeah, I agree fully with that, Joe. And as I noticed that these guys are not afraid to put the wheels on the sausage curbs, and as you say, if the floor pan hits those curbs, that's going to unsettle the car and in fact might throw it offline completely. But nonetheless, let's go and have a look at what I was going to say. Kerry Nolden, another past champion, Joe. He's sitting back in 14th place at the moment and trying to move forward. In front of him, we've got Andy the Milkman Cowie and Robert Sugar Plumley. So these are all Bill's nicknames for these guys. As they now go through the first chicane, once again, he's starting to catch Cowie and Plumley in front of him. So he's doing a good job at the moment.
Bill's never short of him, but Nolden making that gap even shorter between himself and Cowie as he closes in through the second very fiddly chicane. Empties out on the back half of the course, working their way around 7. You should get an opportunity on Cowie in a moment. That's if Cowie doesn't make a go at Robert Plumley. But he decides to stay in line, so no attempt down into turn 8.
Yeah, and bear in mind, of course, folks, that they have to do, as we see a move there from Cowie on Plumley, going to the inside as they come to the last section of the course. Plumley makes that happen. Joe, that's a great pass.
Very clean. Unfortunately for Plumley, this is going to mean he's now under attack once again. And second of 2 corners, Kerry Nolden down to the inside of turn 1. Can he get it to the apex and keep it out of the gravel? He does. Beautiful move by Nolden.
And Sugar Plumley lost 2 places there in the matter of 2 corners. So he's shuffled slightly back now, Plumley, and he's in 14th place at the moment. So some really good action that we caught on our cameras right there.
Just an update on the front since we haven't looked at them in a while. Quakel still about 4 seconds ahead of Takacs in second. Uni Silvasti in third, about a second back from him, so he's still within reach. And Hugo Preto dropping back now 3 seconds behind in fourth. Gunnar Nienhaus a whole 1 second behind him as well in fifth. And haven't seen a change in order in those top 5 in a couple laps.
And Uni Silvasti, Joe, Uni is a master of the pit stops. So he's like our Dr. Ramjed of the Apex League here. Watch for him going to the pits and making a lightning fast pit stop and perhaps coming out in first place. He's done that before. At the moment he's sitting in third place, as we mentioned. He's a long way off Jeroen Quakel, so I mean, look at the gap there, Joe. The gap between Silvasti and Quakel is 5 seconds. You don't often see Jeroen getting away that easily, but today with this difficult track, he's just making every corner a winner.
And I think the drama is happening behind him certainly helped as well. Knut Martinsen is going to have some drama pretty soon because Luke White right on top of him for 8th position. Here he goes. This is a great place to try to make something happen down into the first chicane. But White is just a little bit too far back with about 2 car lengths between them. He stays in line. Both of them getting nice and clean through that chicane. On up over the hill they go and continue.
And I'm looking for a battle. There's plenty of battles going on the track. Guys stalking others and trying to get an advantage. But at the moment, it looks like Jeroen Quakel is running away from everybody. Christian de Cax settling into that second place, 4 seconds back. Uni Silvasti, has he made any time up on Christian? It looks like he's getting a little bit closer, but still that 1 second back or so. In fact, it's less than a second now, 0.8, Joe. So maybe Uni Silvasti is making up some time as they go through turn 1 again. This is lap number 9. They've done about 13 minutes of this 40-minute race, Joe.
Yeah, it definitely looks like Silvasti was about a 10th faster each lap, and now he's really reeling him in with the draft helping him along. Silvasti stalking Takacs down to the first chicane, but once again, not close enough to make anything happen. So he's going to have to stay in that final podium position. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something, but as you said, you can't discount Uni trying to be patient, maybe waiting to see if the pit stops can get him around without having to work his way by on track.
Yeah, and I've got the camera now on Hugo Preto in 4th place. Just he is behind the pair.
I'm sorry, we just had some drama. Knut Martinsen spun around, I think, all of his own as he was in a battle with Luke White. Yes, he took way too much curb. This is a perfect example of what we were talking about before, Richard. Let's take a look.
A little bit of defense going on there into the first chicane. And then he loses it, yes.
He just absolutely flew over the curb. Yeah, we're going to ride on board and see how much air this car gets. It's not made to go up into the air. It's made to stay on the ground. Woohoo! It's a good thing they can't actually feel the G-forces, Richard.
Well, that was a bit of low flying there. And just want to report that Jean-Francois Gaudin was in the pits now. Maybe that's the early pit stop on lap number 9. Very early, 15 minutes into the race. But, Joe, one of the things you will notice when you get into it is Andy Cow is in the pits now, by the way, as well. That these guys spend all of about 2.5, 3 seconds in the pits. That's all they need. They don't take tires. They take a splash of fuel, and they're out of there like a lightning flash.
Well, about 30 seconds ago, we almost had a change for second. Silvasti had to go down into turn 2 onto Cax. Unfortunately, just could not outbrake him. And using the momentum, Takacs managed to outgun him coming around the outside. They're still very close together. Silvasti within 3/10.
Yes, indeed. And now they'll come down to the hairpin. This is on lap number 10. Silvasti very close now. The gap is 0.4. And they'll move down towards the final corner. Silvasti nowhere close enough to make any kinds of moves, but he has signaled that he is ready to start attacking. Christian Takacs is very much aware of what is going on. They go now towards turn number 1, and they've just completed lap 10. They into lap number 11, turn number 1. Silvasti takes the left and closes up now, Joe, onto the back of Christian Takacs. Is he close enough to make a move as they go down through the sweeper? This is a long sweeping right-hand turn, which doesn't stop until they come through this section here and head down towards the first chicane.
As we look over the rear suspension, just stalking and stalking, not letting him go. Talk about pressure. Takacs is handling this beautifully. He hasn't seemed to waver since Uni arrived on his rear wing.
Yeah, they're used to racing with each other, Joe, and there've been battles between lots of different drivers. Now, there is a car in front of Silvasti really closing up now. Let me just check who is that. That is Emre. Now, Emre is a left car, so he is not full position at this point in time, but he's going to interfere with the battle here.
Let's see if he moves right out of the way. They, I don't believe, are required to move over immediately. This is not Formula 1 rules here. And oh, a great run from Silvasti. Is he going to take a look? Takacs is not going defensive, but down into that last chicane, they stay single file. Interesting that Uni didn't have a go at him. Oh, here's a much better chance. Gets a fantastic run, and now he's going defensive. Takacs goes all the way to the inside. He holds his line. He can come over now if he wants to, but he stays so far inside. This is going to give it to Silvasti as he powers his way around the long way around.
That was fantastic. Silvasti went around the outside there. Takacs was fully defensive and trying to come back now at Silvasti as they pass through the sweeper into the long run down to the first chicane, and looks as if Uni Silvasti has made that stick, Joe.
Nicely done. He qualified in qualified in 4th and has now moved himself up into 2nd, so 2 spots up at the sharp end is not easy when you get to this level of talent. Takacs isn't letting him go, though. He has not run away by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, and just let's have a look at some of the others there. So that battle that has just taken place now has moved Silvasti into 2nd place. Takacs is in 3rd. Behind them, of course, a long way back is Hugo Preto in 4th place. He can see his opponents in front of him, but he is quite a long way back. He's 3 seconds back from Takacs now. And then, of course, Gunnar Neerhaus, who had that problem, as they come to complete lap number 12, there are pit stops happening around the place. Holstein in the pits at the moment, Maguire, Beckman, and getting some information. Go ahead.
The 6th place is getting a nice little battle time. Claude holding off Christian Cook once again. Coke. as he has rocked up to the back of him after he had a failed attempt earlier on, but Ty is holding him off for that 6th spot still. And you're right, there's a few cars that have come in for their spots as we continue to watch this. Knut Martinsen came in and has since exited out with his pit stop done. Highest car that has completed the stop, though, Andy Cowie at the moment. He sits 17th.
Yes, and of course we're reaching the halfway mark of the race at the moment. We've still got our eyes on Coke. Well, we've got the cameras on Cowie at the moment. There's a big... back to Coke now. Coke looking left, looking right as they go through the first chicane. In front of him, of course, we have Ty McLeod. Ty McLeod is not going to give it up easy. We've seen Ty McLeod battle last week with Patrick Kessler lap after lap, Joe. He just does not give up, Ty McLeod, and Coke knows that, so Coke will have to pick his spot very carefully when he tries to make the overtake.
Certainly the UK&I driver managing to hold off the DH driver very well, but look at this, he's much closer than we've seen before. Is Coke going to have a go? McLeod feels threatened, he moves to the inside, tries to hold him off, leaves him just a car width, comes back to the line just enough, once again leaving him a car width on the outside, and you can see just how much you lose trying to make an attack into these chicanes when it doesn't work out. He's now got to make up all that time that he just made up before.
Yeah, he lost all the time, and the thing is, you've got to choose your place. Turn number 1 seems like a good place to try and make the attack, and also into the first chicane perhaps. Now they go through the long sweepers, just one long bend from the start of turn 1 all the way to here, Joe, as they now head down towards that first chicane. Once again, Cott showing the outside, then the inside. He's trying to unsettle McLeod in front of him, but McLeod says, I don't care what you do, go all over the track if you want to, I'm just sticking to my line. They head down the hill actually towards the second chicane. Very tough chicane, this one a little bit easier than chicane number 1, as we have a bobble there from McLeod. Can Coke capitalize on this? Not really. There's a good recovery there from McLeod, and now they go into the hairpin.
Yes, a nice job for him to try and minimize the damage of that mistake. And here we can see Christian is close once again on Ty. This time not quite as close as we saw last time through this last chicane, so no attempt. And as much as he waves hello in the mirrors of Ty McLeod, just nothing doing there. Cannot seem to get past this red machine.
And in front of them, there's a battle going on between Jean-Francois Godin and Richie Arnaud. Is that a battle for position? Let me check.
Yeah, it does look like it's a battle. Yeah,
go ahead, Joe.
And this is for 21st between Arnaud and Jean-Francois Godin. As it looks like oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say that it's unusual to see Godin so far behind. He's normally a top 10 runner, Joe. But obviously this track or some problems that he might have had earlier has put him way back in the 20th position or 21st position.
I wonder if there's some personal feelings in this battle. We've got a Canadian versus a French driver. So we'll see how this pans out between them. But Godin still managing to hold or to try and put the pressure on Renault as he closes in. Tries to look to the inside, down into turn 8. He's way deep into the corner. Can he get off of it without an over-under from Arnaud? It looks like he's successful.
That was just a late braking to the max there. Now he goes defensive. Arnaud trying, and he has a little bobble, does go down. And Richie Arnaud not able to capitalize on that. So this battle might well be over.
And Christian Koch has come into the pits as well. What's one of our top runners. Right now, the highest driver who has pitted is Adam Tierney in 16th. Let's see how he comes out in relation to him.
Well, Joe, there's a whole bunch of guys who have not pitted yet. Apart from Koch, all of the guys up to 14th place have not made their pit stop yet. As we see Koch sitting there for quite some time. Actually, that was a lightning fast stop. 1.4 seconds.
He's taken lessons from some of the F1 teams as now he works his way out of the pit exit. This can be a tricky pit exit to maximize with barriers on either side, and then it dumps you right into traffic. But no dramas for Christian Koch because he comes out all by his lonesome, and he is now the leading car who has pitted and completed stop with 17 minutes to go. We had a car off behind him. I didn't quite see who that was.
Yeah, we're having a look to see. I don't see that
Christopher
anyone
Leister.
off track. Leister?
Yeah, Leister. This was bizarre, actually. He stops turning after coming around turn 2 and just kind of plows his way into the gravel. Wonder if this was a mechanical issue.
Okay, now we are seeing the catch from third place and Ty McLeod come into the pit, so this is getting interesting. We've got about 25 minutes completed in the race. They still have 16 minutes of racing to do to the end of this race. Our leader, Jeroen Kwekel, Juni Silvasti in second place, have not looked like they're doing a pit stop at this point in time. Hugo Prater slightly off track. They're gonna now, and Neonhouse on track. Might gonna have a look at that. No, they're all back on track. It was just a momentary off track, so no dramas there. But Joe, now we've had some of our leading cars in the pits, and the highest of these being Christian Takac, who pitted from third place.
Yeah, right now he's trying to hold off Lee Robinson, who has yet to pit. Robinson could cause him a headache if he really wanted to try and attack, even though it won't get him a position ultimately by the end of the race, but he's just going to hold behind. So you're right, Takac's looking very handy. And we saw for a brief moment, you mentioned Jeroen Kwekel still leading this race if you're a fan of him. Sorry we haven't given him a whole lot of screen time, but he has just been shot clear of everyone since the drop of the green.
And I'm here to say that Jeroen Kwekel will not mind at all not being on screen. It means that things are working in his favor at the moment. The same can be said for Juni Silvasti, bearing in mind these two have not made their pit stops yet. Hugo Prater now comes up into third place, courtesy of Takac having gone into the pits, and Gunnar Neernaus in fourth place. Luke White, terrific run from Luke White. He's not usually up this high, but he's in fifth place at the moment. None of these guys have pitted at this point. Kerry Nolden in sixth place also. So your top 6 runners at the moment, Joe, have not made pit stops.
They're only joined by a handful, maybe a half a dozen of other drivers who've yet to take their stop, and we need to wait and see that play out to figure out who is going to be the last car on the lead lap. Adam Tierney, unfortunately, had a big spin, full 360 trying to recover after he swapped ends coming around the hairpin. Let's watch the replay. He was all by his lonesome. You can see as he comes around the hairpin, looks like the momentum keeps that rear end swinging around rather than fighting it. Just gets back on the gas and brings that curiously 7-Up colored car, very Jordan from the 90s looking paint scheme, back on track.
Yeah, we see that quite a bit. When guys realize they've lost it, they just do the 360, touch of the gas pedal, and they're back in it again. So this has happened quite a little bit. So Gunnar Neernaus now, Joe, he's in the pits. That was from fourth place. So let's see how long he's going to spend in the pits. And still, Kwekel, Silvasti, and Prater out there not having made a pit stop.
I'm thinking it's pretty safe to say that Takac should be able to get by Neonhouse, who has come to a stall just now. And actually Takac's, just as I say that, comes by him into the first corner, so he is well clear.
1.58 seconds he stood still in his pit stall, took a dump of fuel, and he's back out there, joins the racetrack proper as we speak. Gunnar Neernaus comes out in 8th position at this point in time, so a bit of work for him to do. But of course, 1, 2, 3, 4, about 6 of the guys, 5 of the guys, 6 still have to make a pit stop.
Just behind him, there's a nice battle for 23rd and 22nd, excuse me, 23rd and 24th. Dylan Hember trying to hassle something out of Christopher Holstein for one of the minor positions, and he does in fact hassle him into a mistake, a very damaging mistake, as Holstein slams the Armco.
Holstein, that's terminal by the looks of it, because he's still sitting there. He will have to take a tow, I imagine.
He does. He finally tows his car while we're watching the replay.
Jeroen Kwekel in the pits. This is interesting.
All right, Kwekel is in. He was in the lead when he entered the pit lane, and he won't be when he comes out because Silvasti and Preto do continue on. Quick stop for Kwekel.
Actually, that's a long stop, Joe. 2.2 seconds. When you're looking at Gunnar having done 1.5 seconds and Christian Koch having done 1.4 seconds, 2 seconds is a long time. So this is interesting. So, you know, there's a second or at least half a second that others can gain on him, but they still have to make their pit stops. He's done it.
Well, he was not passed by Takacs, which is the next car down that has taken his stop. He did have a 6-second lead when he came in, so even if he's about a second slower, he should still be handy once everybody's got theirs done. We've only got 11 minutes left, so everybody should be coming in very soon to complete their splash and dash.
All eyes now on the unit, Juni Silvasti, who's leading the race at the moment. He is coming into pit lane as we speak, Joe, and so is Hugo Preto, has followed him in. This is a very long pit stop. They got chicanes even on pit road. This track has more chicanes than you can poke a stick at.
As Bill likes to say, so they've gone to chicanes R Us and bought them on discount. But Silvasti, as he works his way down to his pit stall, Kwekel starts to approach. He just exits the final chicane right now. And Silvasti finally gets into his stall. Same thing with Preto. And Kwekel comes on by. Silvasti gets going right as he goes through and now exits the pits. Preto follows suit.
1.8 seconds there for Juni Silvasti. He will come out in second place. That lead that Kwekel built up at the beginning of the race and for the first 3 quarters of the race has stood him in good stead as he now takes the lead once again. Juni Silvasti falls back into second place, still 6 seconds back, Joe, and Preda, of course, back in third.
And Takacs has had a great stop along the way. That or Hugo had a horrible one, because look at this battle for third position as Preto under threat. Nothing doing down into the first chicane, but Takacs now has the bit between his teeth. He knows that the jump has helped him. He could be looking at a podium position if he can find a good place to attack.
And let me tell you, oh no! Takacs spins it or half spins it, gets going again, but that's it.
And Niehaus is able to get by in that, but we're looking at the replay as Takacs, that was his mistake. Following in the wake, maybe got a little bit too greedy into this second chicane. And this was coming through the second apex. So you can see there, the track just kind of dips down in there. And I think that unsettled the car. Watching on board, director seems to think that he got a bit too much of the sausage curbs on. Oh yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, something happened to Kwekel.
Kwekel in the pits. What's going on?
Did he speed? Did he speed in the pits?
Maybe he's got a black flag because he's in pit lane. His car's going up on the jacks as they do. That doesn't mean anything's happening. And I don't know what it is. That's a long time he spent there in the pits, about 5 seconds, Joe. That's it for Kwekel. He's not going to win this race.
Well, it wouldn't be a black flag, I'd think, for speeding, because that's about 15 seconds.
We'll have to ask him because we have no idea in the booth here at the moment about what possibly happened to our leader, Jeroen Kwekel. But what that has done, Joe, Juni Silvasti now takes the lead, and of course Hugo Preto in second. In fact, Kwekel is now in 7th place. What a tragedy.
The unit has probably got a huge grin on his face, seeing P1 come up on his F3 box as he comes around now to complete lap 22. He is well clear, about 3 seconds over Preto. That was a decisive pass that he made earlier on, as third place is has now got quite a battle going on. Takacs and Nienhuis. Nienhuis, remember, was able to overtake Takacs after his mistakes, but Christian able to retake that podium position coming through the final chicane.
Yeah, and looking, let me just, let's run it down. So Silvasti now leading. Hugo Prado, as we mentioned, in second place. Takacs and Nienhuis are battling here for third place. And then in fifth place, we've got Coke, but Coke is about 4 seconds back, so really the big battle is here for that last podium position, Joe, as we see Gunnar Nienhuis having a good look at Christian Takacs. Takacs will have to defend. Takacs watchful there, now goes to the correct line, goes through the first chicane, both of them. That's a very good negotiation of that chicane by both guys. They go down the hill towards the second chicane. Gunnar Nienhuis nowhere close enough to try and make an attacking maneuver. So we'll just have to watch and see what happens.
And Christian just looked like lightning through that second chicane, extending the gap over Gunnar. Still, Gunnar isn't letting him go. He knows that most of the points are going to be coming from this race, where instead they get lesser points in the second sprint race. So he's got to try and maximize what he can here, and he wants that podium spot. Down to the final chicane they go. Christian continuing to try and extend that gap.
Yeah, Joe, we can stay with that because I've gone right through the field back towards even up to 10th position. No battles, no very close battles going on. There's about a half a second to 1 second gap between all the cars going back, so that's the best battle happening.
Oh, and a lead battle starting to break out. Hugo Preto caught up to the back of Uni Silvasti. Oh, and look, there's a horrible turn for Silvasti, looking like something is wrong as Hugo just streams on by.
We are going to try and find a replay of Silvasti. Sorry, Joe, but certainly he got past there quite easily by Preto. Let's see if we can get a replay.
Did Silvasti get a cut course? This is coming up to the final chicane. This would be the most likely spot. He was good on that one. No, it didn't look like a cut course there. But he does.
No, not at all.
He looks damaged, though. His front wing... Am I seeing things wrong? Does the right front wing look damaged? He must have clipped a sausage curb and gotten some wing damage, and this is slowing him down significantly.
Yep, he is falling back now from first place. Preto has, and let's just have a look. Yeah, Silvasti found himself in first place after Jeroen Kwekel's problems, and now Preto finds himself in first place in this feature event here at Zolder, and Silvasti not too concerned, I would imagine, Joe, because second place is still a great finish, and remember there's another race to go.
That's Silvio Hurt we just saw a flash of on the inside of the track. He's able to keep going, but wow, we talked about at the top of the race that this track tends to bring mistakes out of even the best drivers, and mistakes it has brought out because we've seen a number of top runners fall by the wayside after they looked like they had this thing wrapped up.
That is correct, and we've got a bunch of guys in the pits at the moment. Phil Reed, Christoph Holstein, Frederick Beckman has been there forever, Alexander Waldo is sitting in the pits there, and a bunch of guys have fallen out as well, including Andy Cowie, Adam Maguire, Steve Kagerer, Taylor Lane, and Vittorio Saltalamacchia. So a whole bunch of guys out of the race, and a whole bunch of guys sitting in pit lane, but Hugo Preto is our leader. He's got a gap of 3 seconds now, Joe, on Uni Silvasti. So Uni, let's see how far is third place back from Uni.
Meanwhile, the driver crossing his fingers is Richard Arnault. He's our last car on the lead lap in 19th. He's only got a few seconds just ahead of Hugo Preto. He's coming on strong and had 3 minutes left to go.
Yeah, I know. Now, one has to wonder whether he's crossing his fingers. Does he want that first position? We have seen guys who hate the idea of starting in first place or pole position in the second race because they know that the concertina effect will be in effect when the race starts. And we've seen, Joe, big pile-ups in on lap 1 in that second race because of the fact that normally slower drivers are in front and the faster guys want to push through as fast as they can.
Are you the type of driver who relishes a challenge, or do you like a nice, quiet race from start to finish? Meanwhile, look at this battle for 14th, side-by-side action through the squiggle that is turn 9, down into the final chicane. Who's going to come out on top? Jean-Francois Godin. Oh, just barely squeaking through there as they finally sort themselves out single file. And Knut Martinsen is going to have to wait for another go later.
Yeah, we've seen all these battles happening week after week between these drivers. They know each other pretty well by now, Joe. So they are not shy and to have a battle. Here we go again. Osterkamp this time.
Yeah, 10th with Osterkamp managing to overtake Adam Tierney. That's going to give him a little bit more points, but start him one more position farther back down the road. Jarno Hertz also went a lap down recently, and I think he actually let Richard Arnaud by. So I guess Jarno is one of the drivers that does not want to start in the front.
Well, you know what, Joe? We've seen, okay, there's getting information. Christian
third place,
speed 3. There's a battle. Let's have a look.
He is catching Silvasti at a high rate of knots. Uni is still suffering from that damage. He's hoping and praying that he can make something work and hold off this competitor. Now, with a minute 30 left to go, we should be seeing the white flag this time by.
That is correct, but here's the battle. Here comes Christian to catch on Uni's going to try and make it happen through the second chicane.
Oh.
Uni fights back. Uni is still in front. The Cats can't make the pass there, but on the straighter sections, I imagine he will have enough power to pass him as they come down towards the hairpin now. That is a right-hander. There's a bit of a touch there from the catch. He can't make it happen. And just behind him is a car as well. Is that Gunnar Nierenhaus getting involved as well, Joe?
Yes, Gunnar has caught up from their battling, slowing them down significantly through the chicane. He's having to stay defensive to hold off Gunnar. I'm surprised that we didn't see Christian try and have a go at Uni down to the hairpin, knowing that Gunnar was getting right up behind him, and all this fighting and now this damage on the front wing of Christian is allowing Uni to stretch away. Here we thought he was going to start to lose positions, and he could have second place wrapped up once again.
Yes, and 1, 2, 3 cars fighting for that second position. The white flag is up, Joe, which means that our leader Hugo Pareto is on his final lap. We'll keep an eye on that. But there's a huge battle right here for that second place, and it's not established yet. Uni Silvasti versus Christian to catch into turn number 3, I think it is, but it's the first chicane anyway, and there we go. The catch has it at the moment.
Finally was able to overtake Uni Silvasti into turn 5 down into the chicane of 6. Whoa, big bobble from Silvasti. Almost lost it, gathers it together, but Gunnar Niehaus trying to see if he can make anything of that. He looks to the inside. Oh, he gets touched as he goes defensive.
That is him. We will have a look at that. There was a touch of wheels there. We saw.
We have to go to the Lido because Hugo Pareto is coming through the final chicane. He's going to take the win, the unlikely winner of his first race of 2, as Hugo takes P1.
And Gunnar made the pass on Silvasti just before the last few corners there, and he will end up, the catch will get second, but Gunnar will end up in 3rd place, and Uni gave it up and finished it off in 4th place. Others to finish still.
And Gunnar was not happy about that move, got on the radio, was very vocal toward Christian after that one. Let's watch that battle there at the end. Boy, that was a good one. Some heart-stopping moments between drivers, very tense racing, but all 3 of them made it to the line. Here we're going to watch the defensive move from this purple machine of Christian. Saw him start to move and thought he could go over and take it away from him, but it was too little too late and actually ran into Gunnar.
Yep, and it looks like most of the guys are finishing up now, so we will be able to shortly call the final positions in the race and then do some driver interviews if we can.
All right, we're back to live as the rest of the cars are now finishing their laps. In fact, I think we've got the last car in the lead lap coming across right now. That's Stephen Chambers. He's going to start on the pole. Hope you're ready for a challenge, Stephen. However, with that means that everybody has gone through, and let's go through the race results. Hugo Prado, as we said, he was your winner after multiple drivers fell by the wayside. Christian Tkach in second. Gunnar Nienhaus had to fight for it, but managed to get on the podium, just sneaking past Uni Silvasti on the final lap. Christian Koch was in fifth with Ty McLeod in sixth. Jeroen Kwekel, he finished in seventh after a big mistake cost him. We need to ask him to figure out what in the world that second pit stop was about. Kerry Nolden, he came home in eighth with Luke White in ninth, and rounding out the top 10 was Rene Oosterkamp.
And in 11th place, we had Adam Tierney. 12th place taken by Lee Robinson. Robert Sugar Plumley finished up in 13th place. Jean-Francois Godin in 14th place. Knut Martinsen in 15th. Stephen Chambers, who will have pole for the next race, he finished up in 16th, and Stephen will indeed relish being in first place there. And Stephen is an absolute goldmine to interview as well, Joe. He is so funny. In 17th place, Odd Jonas Vilman. 18th place, Jano Hirtz. 19th place, Richie Arnaud, who was on pole for a little bit there, but he is now not on pole anymore. And in 20th place, Lawrence De Rijk.
Manuel Hoyer comes home in 21st with Dylan Hember in 22nd. Silvio Hurt, 6 laps down, had some trouble. He was 23rd. Same thing with all the drivers behind. Evan Imre, 24th. Phil Reed in 25th. Christopher Leister in 26th. And Andy Coey in 27th. Then you've got Christopher Holstein in 28th with Steve Kagerer in 29th. Vittorio Saltalamacchia, in 15th. Adam McGuire in 18th. Remember, he had that first lap incident. That must have set the tone for his race. Frederick Beckman in 32nd. Alexander Waldo in 33rd. And Taylor Lane in 34th. With that, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back after just a moment and bring you race 2 of today at Zolder. Welcome back to Circuit Zolder here on the Global Sim Racing channel. We're watching the Apex Online Racing Formula Renault 2.0 series. And we have a driver that we want to talk about who had a very interesting race because we thought he was a shoo-in for the win, especially for the majority of it. But after his pit stop, he had a second stop. And Jeroen Kwekel, with that second stop, everybody's asking the question of the earthquake. What was the cause? We have our theories. Jeroen?
I crossed the pit exit line.
Oh, and we've got the replay up here. That's what everybody was thinking. We're looking at it now. You had to have been kicking yourself. What was going through your head?
Not much, really.
Just kind of blanked it out and continued on. The good news is this is going to put you ahead of some faster drivers at the start of the sprint race. Are you looking forward to that, or are you still a little bit upset over the incident?
No, I'm not upset in the first place. In a way, I'm actually glad that it happened. It's a very new experience for me, iRacing, and maybe I will learn from this, carry onwards, and don't do it next time round when it's maybe at a more important time. So I'm glad that I can point the finger at myself and not towards someone else, because if you make a mistake yourself, you'll learn from it much more for the next time round.
That's the most positive attitude I've ever heard about that. That's fantastic. Well, Jeroen, we're looking forward to seeing you try and climb your way through the field in the sprint race, and good luck.
Thank you, sir. Have fun.
We're going to talk to one more before we go. Ty McLeod. He had a lot of good fighting, and Richard watched a lot of it. Let's let Richard talk to Ty and see how he felt about the first race of the day.
Hello, Ty. You got a copy?
Hello, Richard. How you doing?
I'm very well. Good finish today, Ty. What is that? First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth place finish for you. Tell us about your race there.
Yeah, well happy with that. I think that's my highest finish in a feature race this season, so happy for the points Infinity could do with it. The race, to be honest, it was really, really boring. There was a little bit of kind of argy-bargy on the first lap in front of me, where I gained a few positions. After that, I just had Christian Koch behind me. We kept pushing a little bit, but I managed to hold him off. He made an early pit stop and sadly got out in front of me. So that was the end of my race. It was just boring after that. Just going to try to keep up the pace to not get overtaken by Quakel at the end.
Okay. You are probably one of the only guys in this race to say that it was boring. I got to tell you, from where we were sitting, Ty, it was anything but boring. There was action everywhere. So if you had a quiet race and you're happy with your finish, that's fantastic. We wish you well for the next race. Now, I'm not sure where you'll start. You finished in 6th place. It'll put you around 15th, 16th for the start of the next one. Looking forward to that next one?
Oh yeah, with Quakel and Nolden in front of me, it's going to be fun. I'll probably just get to watch them disappear, so I'll try and hang on the back of them, but hopefully we'll be able to entertain you.
Okay, well, good luck to you for that next race, which should be just about coming up now. So I'll hand you back to Joe. Joe?
We've got one more that we want to talk to, Hugo Prado, really quickly before that second race session starts to come up. Let's bring Hugo into the booth. Hugo, were you as surprised as we were that you wound up in P1?
Yes, really surprised to win this race since Jeroen was so far ahead of us at one point of the race, but very happy to win.
We talked about at the start of the broadcast that this track tends to bring mistakes out of drivers with these chicanes. Did you have a philosophy of just kind of take it a quarter at a time, maybe take it a little bit easy to avoid what the drivers in front of you that fell away did, or were you full attack mode?
No, I really did some mistakes as well. But I mean, if you are, especially on the first chicane that you have on this circuit, if you are going to miss the braking point, is far better just to go straight ahead, because otherwise you will damage the car. I think that's what happened to Juni, and the damage here is, I mean, it's really important because you end up losing almost 1 second a lap. So you are just better off for missing the chicane, go straight ahead and keep going. But I mean, I think that I had the pace to fight for podium. My qualifying was really poor, to be honest. But I had a great start, and I was keeping with the front runners guys. But then I just was fortunate enough for them to make mistakes, and it was after that win that was fairly easy to do for the last 5 laps.
Well, the session is up, and I'm guessing your team is probably prepping your car for the grid, so we're going to let you go. Good luck.
Thank you.
For the next race. That was Hugo Preto, winner for round 1 today of the race at Zolder here in the Apex Online Racing Formula Renault 2.0 Championship. And Richard, man, that we were talking about it during the break. That was frenetic.
It was. And let me tell you, Joe, if this is your first experience of the second race, it's going to be even tighter.
I have no doubt about that. They're out there warming up right now. They've got about 7 minutes left. And since we have those 7 minutes to go, we're actually going to take a short break. We'll come back with the grid, and we'll bring you race 2. Welcome back to Circuit Zolder here for Race 2 of the Apex Online Racing Formula Renault 2.0 Championship. And here on the Global Sim Racing channel, we just watched an excellent first race. Very exciting and unpredictable first race. And speaking of unpredictable, we got a surprise for you. Well, I was stepping in for Bill Zahn since he got stuck in traffic on the way here to the circuit, but he's managed to make it through and he's joined us here today. Welcome, Bill. I know you got to see a little bit of race 1, and it certainly seemed exciting from our viewpoint. What are you looking forward to in this second race?
Well, you know what I think we're going to watch out for is, first of all, I'm glad to be here. And I watched the first one, had some gremlins there. Watch out for Quakel. He's going to have a pretty good starting position this time. And also some of the guys that to keep an eye on that are going to be up front. Martinson's going to be up front, and Godin's going to be up there. So it's going to be hard. Prado is notorious for running through the field. He's not only going to have to go through the field, but he's got to get around some to catch and Nienhuis, Silvassi. So might be hard for him to do what he did last week.
Now, Richard, this turn 1, we saw it can cause some problems, but it is a little bit open. Do you think it'll be cleaner than other first corners we've seen in sprint races this season?
Well, we hope so, but Bill and I have this worry that in this particular class of car, because the tires are so cold on the beginning of the race, and because the guys behind are the faster guys and anxious to get through, that it could be a pile-up in turn 1. We've seen several races that have had the big one, haven't we,
yeah.
Bill?
I think 1 will be okay. I think the problem is going to be after 4 and they go into that first chicane. The problem is, Joe, that the fast guys, what usually happens in a normal race, it strings out a bit. But with all the faster cars behind, they're going to be pretty bunched up even when they get around halfway through the lap. So not only 1 chicane, Richard, but 2 of them to worry about. So they got their work cut out for them. But they know what's in store for them.
Yes, they do. And that the first place so important now for Stephen Chambers, who will be on the pole, and he's going to relish it. I don't think that Richie Arnaud would have relished being in first place, but we know that Stephen Chambers will love it.
So 30 seconds left, and then we'll get the grid read out to you for this race. It's going to be a little bit exciting, I'm sure, for the first half. Maybe even exciting throughout the entire thing. The drivers probably getting a little bit anxious knowing that those chicanes are waiting for them, and especially that those fast drivers are going to have to shuffle their way back up the order now that they've been moved down for the regrid. Just about 8 seconds left, and then we're going to go racing for another 25 minutes here at Circuit Zolder. Checkered flag is out on the warm-up. There you can see a nice view from above from the blimp, as now we've switched down to this start-finish line. And here we go. Grid is going to be on the pole. Christoph Holstein Stephen Chambers with Knut Martinsen in second, Jean-Francois Godin in third, Robert Plumley in fourth, Lee Robinson starts the race in fifth. He's going to be followed by Adam Tierney in sixth, Rene Oosterkamp in seventh, Luke White in eighth, and Kerry Nolden in ninth. And then rounding out the top 10, Bill, it's Jeroen Quakel.
Row 6 made up of Ty McLeod and Christian Koch. Uni Slavasi, keep an eye on him. Gunnar Nienhuis behind them in the next row. Christian to catch and Hugo Prado. That's the last cars that are inverted. Jonas Vilhelm and Jarno Hirtz in 17th and 18th. And then the last row there is Richard Arnaud and Lawrence de Rijk. Richard?
And in 21st place, it will be Manuel Hoyer, then Dylan Hember, Silvio Hurd, Evan Imre, Phil Reed in 25th place, Christoph Liester 26th, Andy Cowie 27th, Christoph Holstein in 28th, 29th, Vittorio Salamakia. We've got to start.
Yep, we've got the lights up, waiting to turn off, and there's the green flag. They accelerate away as Stephen Chambers does his best. He's already got a 3-wide situation starting to form behind him before they even get to the corner. Stephen able to hold off Knut down through turn 1. A little bit of contact behind him as cars try to work their way through 1, now into 2, still sorting themselves out. Still 3 wide behind him. It looks like that's the car of Oosterkamp. Just trying to get past Luke White, and Quakel is the one that comes out the worst of those 3.
looking back here from about 16th position, it's like a bee's nest as they all head down to the first chicane. Track is quite wide before you get to the first chicane. Here's Christian Koch trying to make a move into the chicane, lost it, had to go wide and loses positions, hand over fist coming out of the chicane.
Oh, he's going to get a big slowdown penalty there that he's going to have a difficult time serving as he makes contact. Is he going to cut a second chicane? No, manages to make it despite being shoved over by Kerry Nolden. Still, we had some tense moments for second place because Jean-Francois Gaudin is trying to attack Knut Martinsen. This time he gets it done as Martinsen goes way wide through the first hairpin, loses yet another position from Robert Plumley, and he's still under attack as now Lee Robinson looks to his inside and backs out before they get to the final chicane.
And just behind them, Yuri Silvasti trying to make it through as they go into the final turn. Yuri Silvasti makes the
That's
move.
McLeod.
That was on Pareto. Pareto coming back at the Yuri Silvasti, the two of them fighting. This is way back down in, where are they? They down in 13th and 12th place. But of course we know that these guys have the capabilities of getting to the front. And the big battle here between Pareto and Silvasti. Pareto, of course, your winner from the last race.
And winner of this battle, let's go to the replay on the start. See if we can dissect some of what was going on farther down in the pack. Here we've got the lights coming up. Still station now, they are able to accelerate away. There you can see the three-wide situation for third place. Driver in the middle just starts to back out of it, causing a little bit of a checkup behind him.
3-4 wide going into the second chicane.
We're still in the replay, but when we come back, there was three wide down into the second chicane. Hugo Prado, a big part of that one. And there you can see starting to sort themselves out. We're going to watch this replay of this three wide situation. Looks like we just missed it. Oh no, this is Koch on the second chicane as he actually gets shoved over by Nolden. I don't think Nolden really did anything wrong there. He just got a run on him and had the inside of that first apex. Let's look at it from a different angle here.
The live action is frantic, guys. Get through that.
All right, we're back live now. Richard, tell us what you're seeing.
Silvasti, Nienhuis. And they touch, and that was Oosterkamp gets shuffled wide there. Silvasti goes through in front of Oosterkamp. Now there's Francois Gaudin. Then there's the Reich. Then there's the catch. Then there's Silvasti. Then there's Gunnar Nienhuis. It's been all action since the drop of the flag, Joe.
They're finally getting a little bit single file here as everybody's got some room. De Rijk has an attack from Gaudin down to the inside of the first chicane. Can he make it stick, though? Oh, just about gets cut
Plumley.
off. And De Rijk comes into him.
Plumley and Nolden got together as well.
We're going to watch a replay of this incident into the first chicane with Gaudin and De Rijk. Here we're riding on board. De Rijk tries to give him enough room, but it's very tough to do so. And you can see his tires come together. That just sends them both flying.
Oh, Plumley under attack from Koch, and they come together. There's a third car involved as well.
Going to watch the replay of this one.
Go ahead, Joe.
Here we're watching Plumley. He's the car ahead down into the hairpin. As the car behind tries to give an attack, but a little bit of a late defense from Plumley is what really set it off. Look at all the cars just piling into this. Let's watch this one from above. And needless to say, there are a lot of cars that are heading into the pits. You can see that defense just going wrong as he tries to take to the apex.
Okay, and Bill, we've seen this a number of times where you don't have a big one, but you have a lot of little ones happening in the start of the second race.
Yeah, let's take a quick look at third position. Quakel's made his way around Tierney now. Has got up to third. Next one on his hit list is Lee Robinson. He should be able to make short work of that. And then he's got his work cut out for him to get to Chambers. Chambers is out there, the Flying Bee, racing very fast out in front right now.
7 positions and 4 laps for Quakel. as he tries to stalk Lee Robinson down into the hairpin of turn 8. Isn't quite close enough to try and take him. He stays patient. Lee Robinson, in the meantime, just gives him the position as he goes wide off the corner. Make that 2 spots as Adam Tierney says, thank you very much, I'll get on the podium.
And let's go back to Uni Silvasti in 11th position. There's a big battle forming here as we have indeed Silvasti got Westerkamp in front of him. These are guys that have survived that first couple of laps. They are now on lap 4 and the race is now settling down into 2-car battles everywhere across the park as we see Silvasti having a look there at Westerkamp. Can't make anything happen as they go through turn 1. Now they go into 2, very wide, very a continuous sweeper there. Silvasti not close enough to do anything, but out front still so Chambers. But look at Quakel, look at Quakel.
The lead is under threat as Quakel manages to take a look at Chambers. He's trying to come back at him. He wants this win. He thinks he has an opportunity to finally take the checkered flag. Still going side by side through the chicane, trying to squeeze Quakel. They're still side by side coming through 7. Quakel still trying to... Oh, they come together! Quakel knocks him. He turns over and tumbles. Quakel tries to come back onto the track and he manages to keep going, but disaster for Stephen Chambers.
Let's look at the replay of that. It was big contact between those 2 cars there. Quakel in the green car. No, sorry, it's Chambers in the green car.
No, Chambers in the yellow car. Green was
in the yellow.
Quakel. You had it right.
Yep.
Yeah, and they were fighting so hard and so close. We're gonna watch it from above. I almost feel like this was bound to happen, Bill.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's going to be a rough one.
The IRT will have to have a look at that. We're going back live now, and you can see that they came together there quite hard. Quakel continues, but Chamber, the other car, I forget the name now. Looks like he's a pit stop.
Well, Adam Tierney is the one that has benefited the most from all of this. He had moved himself up into 3rd after a mistake we saw in turn 8 earlier from, I believe it was Robinson. That moves Tierney up into 1st and Robinson back into 2nd. Hugo Prado just took 3rd, though.
Yep.
We just saw it on screen, past Luke White.
Now remember, Prado started behind all these guys, behind Quakel, behind Silvasti, behind everybody. He started in the 16th spot because he won the feature. He's made his way around, and he has a real chance of winning this thing. Next up for him is Robinson.
But Quakel's coming back. I thought he would have plenty of damage after he turned his car into the tires with that contact, and you can see there's some damage on the car indeed, but he is still moving his way forward. He's moved his way into 4th.
Meanwhile, Silvasti is he is making moves. He's just passed Cowie. Silvasti's got the catch up ahead of him now. He is fast, Uni Silvasti, in this 2nd race. And up ahead of him, you've got cars bunched up here battling. This is going to give Uni Silvasti an opportunity perhaps to catch up. But, of course, this is a very short race, Joe, a 25-minute race, 15 minutes left in the race, 10 minutes gone. So plenty of time there for Silvasti to make up some more places.
Nearly halfway, and the driver that's wishing the clock would move faster is Tierney because Prado and Quakel are both coming. In fact, Quakel looking on the inside of Prado for that 3rd position. They might get another one because I wonder if Lee Robinson cut the course there. He was way over on there, but it looks like no such luck for Prado. Meanwhile, Prado was under attack from Quakel down into the 2nd chicane. Once again, despite the damage, Quakel on a charge, and they're all bottled up behind Robinson while Tierney is hoping and praying this battle continues on so that he can hold on to this lead.
Yes, and Adam Tierney, we have seen in previous races, Adam Tierney, when he has to defend, will defend to the last second and up ahead of, let's just go back here to Gunnar.
This battle is not over for 2nd place. This battle's not over as Robinson almost had to go back on Prado, but he wasn't able to make an attempt. Sorry, Richard. I thought he was going to be able to come back at him.
Well, joining this battle here is Gunnar Nienhaus. He's becoming a part of this battle. So you're looking at 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th place, all fighting for 2nd place. Here comes Gunnar Nienhaus in front of him, Luke White. Then you've got Robinson, who's involved with that battle with Quakel, Prater as well. Adam Tierney loving every second of this, trying to make a getaway. They are not catching him while they're battling here, Joe.
Just to the side of the screen, you could have seen Quakel overtaking Robinson. He's now into 3rd, and they are freed up from Robinson, who's still under threat from White. And as you said, Nienhaus getting up into the mix. Takacs is also just behind Nienhaus, and we know that he is a fast driver that could get himself into the podium here.
Absolutely, and we know that you can never also discount the big unit. Juni Silvasti, he's not that far back, even though he's in 8th place showing on screen there. In fact, he's only a matter of a couple of passes and he'll be in 4th place. So watch out for Juni. He is going to be a factor towards the end of this race. I'm sure of that, Bill.
Looking up here on front, Prado has a real chance of being the first driver to go back-to-back wins here.
One off in front of Juni.
Oh, Lee Robinson thought he was going to be able to have a good race, but look at the replay here. Turns himself around, coming through the final chicane. I think he might have had just a little bit of tap from the car behind, but it was minor. He was already on his way into that pirouette, and that slots him down into 10th. Meanwhile, let's go back to the leaders, because as Bill was saying, Prado rocking back up to the rear wing of Adam Tierney. If Tierney ever needed a rag for sweat, this is going to be the moment, because the pressure is starting to be applied.
Here comes Silvasti into this first chicane, just makes an overtaking maneuver on Luke White, gets it done, and now he moves forward into 5th place, I think that is, and Juni now has in front of him Gunnar Nienhaus. That's not going to be an easy one. Back to the front where the battle is severe for that first place.
Only a car length between them down through the chicane, and Quakel is now on the back of these guys as well. Prado not able to do anything, still waiting behind, down into turn 8. Little bit of tire smoke from Adam Tierney. He is pushing. He wants to get this P1, knowing that he has the opportunity to take the checkered flag. Prado just a car length back. He takes a look, wavers behind him, showing him he's in his mirrors. Down into the final chicane they go, still in line. Tierney first, Prado second, Quakel third.
I get the, okay, we're getting some information. There's a pass happening.
Silvasti now could be joining this guy. So he overtakes Nienhaus for 4th place. Nothing changing up in the front there. You can see Silvasti and that purple machine working his way forward. How long can Tierney hold these guys off? He's going to have to do it for 11 more minutes.
And I get the feeling that Jeroen Quakel's got some damage there that's not enabling him to attack these guys. Or maybe he's just watching, but the laps are running down. We have just about 11 minutes to go in this race, and our leader is Adam Tierney. Adam Tierney, we mentioned that he can...
Prado's got to run.
Yes, let's go with that.
He's to the inside, down into the 2nd chicane, slips by him, takes it cleanly, and now Tierney has to worry about Quakel just behind him.
That is correct, and while they are battling, of course, we have Silvasti trying to catch up. Silvasti's still a little way back, so we'll just keep an eye on him, but the battle is still up here, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd position. Currently, Hugo Prater has it. Adam Tierney manages to stay ahead of Jeroen Quakel. Actually, Quakel now into 2nd place, looking at Prado.
Wing damage be damned, he is going to make a go at it, and Quakel still cannot try and get past Prado. This battle is allowing Adam Tierney to stay in things. Quakel looking to the inside once again, down into turn 1, this time with it not being a chicane. Can he do it? It's looking clean.
Yes.
Trying for the over-under. Prado searches for a way back, but no such luck, and Quakel has the lead despite running into the wall.
And Adam Tierney stays in it in 3rd place. Just behind them is Juni Silvasti. He's made up significant ground on these 3, Joe, and it looks as if he'll be involved in this battle. Adam Tierney now has to keep a big eye in his mirrors, because here comes the unit. Juni Silvasti is right there with them now.
Credit to Adam Tierney. He made him work for it, but now he's still on the podium. And as you said, with Silvasti encroaching on his mirrors, he can still maybe hold on to this third place, especially if he could see a battle with the guys in front. Here comes Silvasti now, within 3 car lengths of that green machine.
And you know what, Bill? They say cream rises to the top, and we are seeing that. Prato, Quakel, Silvasti, all up there in your top 5 once again.
Prato way deep into turn 8. That cost him some time. Now Silvasti really has a chance to take a look. He's got the run out of the hairpin, down into the final chicane, sneaks to the inside, and Tierney cannot hold back the flood.
Joe, perfect overtaking maneuver there from Juni Silvasti on Adam Tierney. Adam Tierney had no choice but to give that up. Now Silvasti into 3rd place. In front of Silvasti now we have Hugo Prato. Now these guys have battled before for 1st place, for 2nd place. Up ahead of them, of course, is Jeroen Quakel in a position that he is very comfortable with. And I'm surprised at that, Joe, because in fact he must have some damage from his contacts on that car.
He must have gotten extremely lucky. Nienhuis now looking at 4th place as Tierney still faces the onslaught. He loses 1 more spot and is now down into 5th.
Not over yet. Here comes Prato going down into the 2nd chicane. They're side by side. Quakel will have the line into the 1st part of the chicane. He manages to stay ahead into the 2nd part of the chicane. As they come out of the chicane, Prato just backed it off a little bit as they head down now towards the hairpin here. It is still Quakel with Prato now in 2nd place, and 3rd place Juni Silvasti. Juni Silvasti on the podium.
Prato desperately wants the prestige of going back-to-back and being the first driver to do it in a single race. Now he's got Silvasti looking at the rear wing in case that pass attempt goes wrong. Oh, and a big bobble from Quakel, who goes off track on the exit of the final chicane.
That was hairy. Here comes, Hugo Prato, just a bit of a look there. That does not fool Quakel at all. Quakel going a bit wide out of turn 1. Now they go into the right hand on turn 2. Prato is right there, and with 7 minutes to go, I just get the feeling he's watching what Quakel is doing and looking for an opportunity, Joe.
Silvasti in the popcorn position, watching all of this, but once again, Prato with a great run. He's got the draft, looks to the inside. Quakel does not defend enough as he drifted slightly offline. Prato goes through. Here comes Silvasti. Silvasti around the outside of the 1st chicane, trying to get by Quakel. They're still side by side. They almost touch as they come around the bend. Quakel could still sneak up the inside of the 2nd chicane, but he gives up the ghost.
Yes, going from 1st place to 3rd place was Jeroen Quakel. Now Hugo Prato in 1st place, Juni Silvasti in 2nd place. Sorry if we're not going to any other battles further down the track, Joe, but this is just the most exciting battle for 1st place at the moment.
When you got battles for podium positions, you got to stick with them. I think Quakel is finally feeling that damage. It's coming back to bite him, with both Silvasti and Prato managing to sneak by, and Nienhuis is even closing in on these top 3.
And spare a thought for Adam Tierney, who was leading at one point. He's back to 5th place now and just dropping back slightly, but still a great race from Adam Tierney.
5 minutes left to go in this race. These guys probably have about 4 or 5 laps left before the checkered flag finally comes out and puts an end to this madness. Your order is Prato 1st, Silvasti 2nd, Quakel 3rd, Nienhuis in 4th, and Tierney in 5th.
And just going further back, we've got Oosterkamp there in 6th place. Luke White was in the battles up front as well for a little while. Christian de Catch, he was in 8th place at the moment. They all spread out, so we'll go back to the front because that is where the action is.
They're starting to separate. The top 4 all have 7/10 between each other exactly. I'm looking at my timing, and that is staying steady as now finally Gunnar Nienhuis breaks the mold there, and they start to get a little bit of separation from the 2nd chicane. Tierney was holding on as these guys were fighting quite a lot, and that is not the case anymore.
Cowie off track, brings it back on.
Well, that was in the 2nd chicane as well. This was a solo incident. Yet another driver falling victim to these giant sausage curbs, upsetting the car and sending him around in a loop.
And now we're back live again, and I am where else? Right at the front of this race where Pareto is still leading. We've got Uni Salvasti in second. Uni Salvasti not close enough to make any kind of move. Time running out for Uni, 4 minutes on the clock. Just a little over 4 minutes at the moment. He is not close enough. Looks as if Pareto might do a back-to-back, Joe. We're not going to put the mockers on him because we've done that before to many a driver. But yeah, it looks good for Pareto at the moment.
Let's go back to 7th place because Christian Takacs is all over the back of Luke White. And he's trying to see what he can salvage from this race. Having started in 15th, he has worked his way this far up through these top-end drivers and seems to have stalled out here at 8th.
Yeah, and just looking at the front there, once again, Salvasti has not given up. Quakel has not given up, but Quakel is dropping back from the other two. Salvasti has the best opportunity to try and win this race, but I think that Pareto realizes that we are only 3.5 minutes away from the checkered flag, and that he could have this one in the bag, so he's going to do everything he can as they go through the final turn, which is another chicane, and they head down now across the line, coming up soon to finish lap number 15, and of course they will then be only 3 minutes or so away from the checkered flag.
Boy, the pace seems to be in favor of Pareto as he's extended it in the last lap and a half from 0.7 to 1.3 seconds over Salvasti. Uni has no answer for him at the moment, and he's starting to run out of time to make it worth a win.
And I'm looking at Gunnar Nierenhaus. Gunnar is slowly closing up here on Jeroen Quakel. Does he have enough to possibly get on the podium before the end of this race? He's right on the back here of Quakel. Not close enough to make a move just yet.
We had a car off, and I'm not sure if I can... just spotted it, and that was Lawrence de Rijk. Yeah, thanks, Bill. Sorry, we haven't been able to bring you in here edgewise, but the action has been frantic.
Quickly, I just want to talk about to catch real quick. Go ahead, Richard.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
Remember, he finished second in the first race. He's the only driver that had success in the feature that wasn't able to follow up in the sprint race like Pareto, Salvasti, Quakel, and Nierenhaus have all had.
Yeah, I'm sorry that I false alarm there. That was Silvio Hurt going slowly, allowing everybody to pass. I thought that was Gunnar Nierenhaus, but Gunnar, of course, is trying to get on the podium. He's not close enough. I think Quakel has responded there, Joe. He realizes that time's running out. There's only a couple of laps left, and he's keeping Gunnar behind him quite easily at the moment.
We could be... Oh, nope, we should get the white flag next time by.
Yeah, next time.
So, as we keep saying, time is running out, and as much as these guys have been pushing and battling, they're not going to have many opportunities left. Nierenhaus just behind Quakel. Does he know that he's damaged, though? Is that going to allow Nierenhaus to push if he knows that Jeroen might be dealing with an ill-handling car? Right now, he's close to within half a second, but can't seem to get any closer than that.
Every car that I've had a look at, Joe, going all the way back is a couple of, like 7/10 behind that car in front of them. So no real battle for position going on now. We might as well stick with what is happening up front and see if indeed Pareto can go to the line and win back-to-back races, which is virtually impossible to do, but he's done it.
And remember, Pareto qualified 7th for the feature race. Not like he went wire to wire. He had to go around 6 other cars to get to the lead, and then he had to go through 15 other cars to get to the lead again.
Pareto is looking in trouble, though. He had a bad exit coming out of the last chicane, and it's now down to half a second between himself and Salvasti. Any more mistakes could put Salvasti within reach of an attempt. Right now, he's a little bit too far back. As Richard said, we're on the white flagged lap. This is it. Every time they come to a break zone, it's the last chance for the unit to make a go at Hugo Pareto. He starts to slip back. Pareto has found his legs once again. Can he hold him off for just half a lap?
You go ahead, Joe. Call it all the way to the end. This is your show.
Clean through the first chicane. He drops him yet a couple tenths more as Uni Silvasti starts to drop back. He was looking good for a moment, but it's slipping through his fingers. Prado really pushing now as he slides the car through that second chicane. Now coming through turn 7. Both of them looking clean. Silvasti holding station at just about 8 tenths down into one of the final passing zones of the final hairpin. Hugo Prado looking clean. Silvasti looking clean through the squiggle of 9. This is his last opportunity. He's just a little bit too far back. Without a mistake from Prado, he can have this one in the bag. No driver has been able to win both races of the day, but Hugo Prado, as he accelerates out of the corner, he's got this one. He won the first one. He's going to win the second one. Hugo Prado wins it.
And there was a big battle behind Hugo and Silvasti for the 3rd place. But it did go to Quakel and Gunnar Nienaus in 4th place.
René Oosterkamp, we didn't give him a lot of screen time, but what a great job to go from 7th to 5th and hold on to his spots there. Adam Tierney, give him some credit as well, finishing in 6th place. He actually started in 6th as well, so he didn't really lose anything. And Christian Takacs going from 15th to 7th. What a charge.
Christian Takac and Luke White were side by side for the final probably 6 corners. A great run for them to catch Nick White at the end to pick up 7th spot.
And if I'm seeing right, last car on the lead lap is Christopher Leister. He's still continuing around, just about to finish. He started 26th and moved his way up to 18th.
Yeah, most of the drivers have finished now, and so we come to an end of another very exciting race. Wow, this is a tough track, and these guys have just given us the best entertainment that I've seen for a long time in any race.
Some drivers have been chewed up and spit out by Circuit Zolder. Others, though, have embraced it with both hands, biggest one being Hugo Prado. We're going to take a short break. We're going to come back with the unofficial results here of race 2 of today. Don't go away, because on screen we're going to have all the upcoming races here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Welcome back to Circuit Zolder. We just watched race 2 of the Apex Online Racing Formula Renault 2.0 series. And whew, here on the Global Sim Racing channel, we had to take that break just to catch our breath. I hope you've caught yours, because now we've got driver interviews. But before that, let's read you through the finishing order. Hugo Prado, first driver in the series to take back-to-back wins in the same day. Uni Silvasti came home in second, gave him a good run for it, just could not make anything happen in the last few laps. Jeroen Kwekel, he had some damage. He unfortunately sent another driver on his lid, but despite that, still came to the podium, made up for a bad first race. Gunnar Nienhuis, he was fourth, followed by Rene Oosterkamp, who was a driver who probably didn't have a quiet race, but it was quiet from our perspective. In fifth, Adam Tierney in sixth place behind him after briefly holding the lead. Christian Tkach in seventh. Luke White came home in eighth, followed by Phil Reed in ninth. We didn't even get to touch on him, I think, anywhere in the race. And then rounding out the top 10, Richard, is Evan Imre.
Yeah, we had very little time to go anywhere past fifth place. But these guys did a fantastic job, and we are talking about 11th place Andy Cowie, 12th place Lee Robinson, who was right up there in the beginning of the second race. Odd Jones-Villman, good finish for him in 13th place. Frederick Beckman in 14th. Ty McLeod, 15th place. Jean-Francois Godin in 16th place. Dylan Hember in 17th. Christoph Leister 18th, and that was the last car on the lead lap. And then 19th place Lawrence de Rijk, who ended up on his lid, and Silvio Hurt in 20th place. Bill?
And then all of my guys had a lot of trouble here. 10 laps down, Vittorio Saltalamacchia, the Flying V, Stephen Chambers. Hey, he was leading for a while. Then he wasn't. Alex Valdo in 14th spot. Robert Sugar Plumley also 14 laps down, 23rd and 24th for those last three drivers there. Christian Koch, Ricard Arnaud, Manuel Howie, Jarno Hertz, Christoph Holstein, Kerry Nolden, and Adam McGuire, all well down in the field. Joe?
And with that, we have some interviews to do. First up, let's talk to third place finisher Jeroen Kwekel. And we got a brief chance to talk to him before. This was a little bit of a better race, but not without its controversy. Well, Kwekel, it was a better finish, but it seemed like you got into a little bit of a fracas at one point.
Yeah, that's unfortunately correct. It's a big bummer, but what can you do?
Now, you had to climb your way through, and for a while you were challenging for the lead. When you had that incident and your car went into the tires into the side of the road, how did it feel? Was it handling okay? We were shocked that you were able to continue that fast.
Well, I was myself too, because around this track you have some curbs, and if you go a little bit over them, it damages the front wing, and or it damages the floor, whatever. But a big contact like that didn't damage the car as much as I would think. There was definitely some damage, definitely noticeable in the high-speed corners. But I was quite stunned actually that the car was performing that well actually.
Are you proud of the third place finish you managed to salvage with the dramas that you endured?
Well, I mean, proud is a big word, but I think today I drove at the maximum. I don't think I could have done any more than I did today, and I always say if I can do that, then I'm happy, regardless of the result or regardless of what happened. But yeah, I don't know. I expected Stevie to be a bit more on the left. I mean, that's more or less the racing line, and he was on the racing line. I thought he would be more to the curb, but yeah, he wasn't.
Something for the IRT, I suppose, after the race. So, again, congratulations on a podium, and we'll see you at the next race. That was Jeroen Kwekel, who had some action today and wasn't as dominant as we've seen otherwise. We've got Luke White waiting in the wings, who finished with a top 10 today, and Bill is going to talk to him after I got to enjoy a wonderful Kimi Räikkönen impression by Jeroen Kwekel there.
See if somebody can bring Luke. There we go. Luke, congratulations. 9th place finish in the feature and 8th place in the sprint race. A couple things I want to talk about. Let's before we go to the last lap, which was very exciting with you in your battle with Takach. Let's talk about all those drivers coming through. You fended them off the best you could, but there are some big names had places to go, weren't there?
Yeah, we've got. So first off, good evening, chaps. Hope you're all well. But yeah, we've got some really, really good drivers, and one of the slower ones, like myself. It's more. I'm trying to be sort of tactful and picking and choosing who I could let through and when to really defend. So I knew towards the end of the race that Takash, much faster than me, fantastic driver, but then there was a really good chance that I could keep him behind, and really I should have done. It was a really sort of nervy last lap for me, and I didn't do very well and gave it away, really.
It was, and we didn't get it on camera, but I watched it because we had 3 commentators. You must have been side by side with him for probably the last 4 or 5 corners.
Yeah, I mean, the last corner we came out side by side, and I'm using the Rift. So I was looking to my left and sort of like trying to shuffle my car forward like a kid in a go-kart, trying to stop him from overtaking me, and he got me by 4 thousandths. So yeah, it was not a bad guy to lose to, but I definitely could have held him off.
What team are you racing for? An 8th and a 9th? That'll be nice points for your team.
Yeah. North Atlantic Racing with Steve Kagerer.
And you guys are making a move. Yeah, you're climbing up. There's a chance to get on that overlay. That's the goal of all the teams, to get on that top 5. So good news for you guys. Where are you from?
The UK, and Steve is from Canada. He sort of adopted me into the team a couple of seasons ago. And unfortunately, he's having a few computer issues at the moment. But when he sorts that, hopefully he'll be scoring some points with me as well.
Well, when you're the only driver out there, you get yourself an 8th and a 9th. That'll help. Hey, congratulations. Good job.
Thanks a lot, buddy.
Luke White, your 8th place finisher in the sprint, 9th place in the feature race.
Well, I am simply a guest here, so it seems much more fitting for me to let our winner be interviewed by Richard Losper so we can talk to him about this fantastic feat he's achieved before anybody else in the series.
Okay, Bill, did you say that you wanted to talk to Hugo?
No, go ahead, Rich. You got him.
Okay, Hugo.
Hello, guys.
First, I mean, that is just huge on a track like Zolder, which is so tough.
Yeah, I'm really amazed by the result. I think it was a great race. I think that we did enough to put up a good show for everyone that was watching. So hopefully you did enjoy it as well.
Oh, Hugo, it was fantastic to watch, let me tell you. And you know, you guys going through that those chicanes there, particularly that first chicane, was just magic. So did you think at all before the start of the feature race that you might have a chance of pulling off not only 1 win, but 2 in a row?
Well, no. I thought that looking at the grid, there was, I think Jean-Francois was really close to the top, and he is really quick. So I thought that he would do very well. He would probably move away from the pack really, really soon in the race. So I was hoping to fight. I normally do well in these races, but I was not expecting to have a win. I thought that I had the win because Jerome lost performance. I think that he had some damage after the overtake that he did on me. But nevertheless, I was able to keep up with the gap that I had with Juni. So I'm overwhelmed by the results. Let me just give a shout out to my colleagues at TNT Racing. They helped me a lot in terms of setup of this car, and also for my colleagues at work. I have just shared today the link to watch this race, so hopefully they were following it.
Fantastic. Now, Bill Subzan wanted to have a conversation with you as well, so we'll let Bill ask a question to Bill.
Oh, I just wanted to talk about that pass in the end there in that first chicane. I thought it was a great showing of how much trust you had in Jeroen, that he was going to leave you room as you made the pass for the lead going into that first chicane.
Yeah, I think that by then he was already slightly damaged, at least. I think it was like 1 lap or 2 laps earlier than that. We fought on the second chicane and we gave space to one another. and that's what you do. I mean, you are here to fight, but you want to fight fairly. You want to give space to the other guy that is fighting for your position, and that's what he did, and that's what I usually do as well. So I surely he has enjoyed it, even if he lost that position. I surely did as well.
Last question. We'll get you out of here on this one. Were you worried about making a mistake for the pass and giving it up to Slovasi, who was right behind you? It's kind of tough. A 2-car race is a little different game than racing in a 3-car battle, isn't it?
Yes. But I mean, I was enjoying the race. If I had the opportunity to overtake Jeroen, I took it. And I mean, even if I lost not only for Jeroen but also for Juni, I would be right on their tails as well, fighting once again. So I had one chance and I took it.
Hey, congratulations. First guy to go back-to-back with wins. Hugo Prado is in the series and in the championship hunt. Good race today, Hugo.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Joe.
Well, that will conclude our interviews and as well conclude our broadcast, but we want to thank a few people before we go. Obviously, we'd like to thank everyone at Apex Online Racing for organizing the Formula Renault 2.0 League and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. We know you have a lot of choices when you fly. Thanks for flying GSRC. Thanks to companies, equipment, and software that you see on the screen now that we use on our broadcast. The original music you've heard on today's broadcast is thanks to Eric Ekholm and Casey Lalonde. See the screen for how to contact each of them. The AOR returns next week, February 2nd, for Round 8 from Silverstone, and GSRC will be there to bring you all the virtual doubleheader action. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including dates and times for our upcoming broadcasts, or to find archive broadcasts, you can arrange for GSRC to broadcast your race on your own. Your best bet is globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel. And now, before we close up shop, on behalf of my Mike mates, Richard Losper, Bill Zahn, our director Amjad Yaman, and our camera artist Dougie Beard, I'd like to thank all of you for watching. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.